Hello and welcome to this week's Energy Shot podcast. We are Matt Taylor and my name is Nicole Ercolani, and we have decided to produce this podcast in order for you to have some astrological information from Matt, from the Kabbalistic astrology, some energy shots, some wisdom and coaching tools, some day-to-day practice, and then you can link yourself up to your higher destiny, to your higher realm, and then move through time and space graciously and beautifully. Hi, Matt. How are you this week?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's very sunny and warm here in Barcelona. So
Well,
we haven't really had a November was for us a little bit cold, but last month and this month and January and now this month is really kind of warm.
yeah, it's probably starting to snow again in April.
Yeah.
Like
Not when I'm on the beach in June.
here it's very cold, but at least it's not like snowing all the time. But they say it's that it would be good. So
Yeah. Yeah.
what's
Up there in the
going on
Swiss Alps.
in the cosmos?
Well,
Yeah,
what's happening out there? So we're still in we're still in the point where we have Leo rising. So our rising sign always gives us a point of focus of which is a little bit more energy we're going out into the world with. So we're going out in the world with a bit more Leo energy, which is creative and shining and healing and, wanting to bring life to things, like the sun, right? The sun rules Leo. So we're very much with this kind of fiery energy, which is great when we can get the fire in the chart. We want it because there's not any planets in a fire sign. So we have this little bit of Leo sun energy giving us a bit of, vivacity, in our life. So that's very good. Really, when it's like this, we're really looking, the augmented energies are really around children or creation or leadership or places where people stand out, such as our leaders, right? Or people in the fame or whatever. So we're very much with this kind of energy. These are the things that are kind of standing out, that are in this particular moment. Doesn't mean everything will, but this is where energy is more focused. Right, so we've seen, and sport is another one. So we've seen during Leo rising, we've seen the incident with the number one tennis player who couldn't get into Australia. We've seen the leadership roles, this thing with the Biden and the Putin, and we see, and in another way, Boris Johnson in the UK is in the news across Europe every day. We're sort of like, what's he done now? So, and with and some incidences with children as well. So. And strange things. So here in Spain, we've had this just all of a sudden out of nowhere, these groups of adolescents who've just started forming violent groups and attacking people. We've seen in Morocco as well, this child that's been stuck in a hole for weeks. And they're trying to get him and they're trying to get him out, and the earth keeps going in. So there's some very strange things here. I don't know in Switzerland if you've had anything around those areas, but certainly, what I see in the news, it's certainly, you can see it focusing around these things. So this is the area that we're focusing. Now, if we look at what the planet that rules Leo is the sun, as I said. So the sun is in Aquarius. And so we are, with Aquarius, it's more like things that are out of the box or unusual or breakthrough or different or radical. And certainly with leadership, this is what we see at the moment, that governments are radicalizing themselves, in a way, becoming very, sort of ultra conservative or ultra labor or ultra left wing, So we don't really have, in these current energies, we don't really have anything that is kind of middle ground or centered, right? It's either really pumped up like Leo, and then it's radicalized or disruptive, interruptive, or extreme like Aquarius, right? Out of the mainstream. So this is kind of the month that we're having, right? Now, what's coming in is this energy that we call a kazimi, which is a great word to say. I just love saying kazimi. It's just like, a bit of magic. 1, 2, 3, kazimi.
For me, it sounds like a Japanese manga.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, have you seen the latest kazimi,
Yeah.
So it's got a grey rhythm too. What it means is that there's a planet that is exactly the same degree as the sun, right? They're the one, right? And this planet, on this occasion, is Saturn, which is very rules, laws, boundaries, the structure, the box, the karma, the boundaries which you can live in, the boundaries that you have to work in. So what we're seeing here is many things where there's like leaders or children or sports players or creatives or people who are in a creative moment. It can be any sort of creation. And we're getting boundaries put in there, right? Responsibilities put in there, right? In this current week. So what we will see is this thing that with, Boris Johnson, he's been partying the whole time. Everybody's been locked down, it seems, right? So we will see that the boundaries come in this week, right? We know he's under police investigation. We know he's under that, right? And that will be, some energies that will come in this week that will further give clear responsibility, if you like. What Saturn is very responsibility driven around that. And we see that also will play out with the Putin Biden thing where, some kind of boundaries or border, it'll be about boundaries, it'll be about borders, which is what we're seeing with the Ukraine, right? There'll be something more emphasized about that. Yep. Of course, with these children in Spain, running riot and not doing very nice things, we will see the law being enforced and boundary and Spain to responsibilities. Now, what does that tell us, right? Down here in the middle ground where maybe we're not so affected, what we're doing is like whatever we're creating in our lives right now needs to have responsibility, right? It needs to have borders. And this takes us back to the last eclipse where it was the first one was free will and the second one was about responsibility. So we need to find that what we're creating or what we feel free to do or what we feel we want to put out in the world needs to be vesseled, needs to be contained, right, for us to see it. So in the energetics, this is what it's saying. If you want to create something, you need to take responsibility for that. You need to, really do the work. You need to give it focus. You need to put the boundaries in. You can't just be like, oh, do it a bit this way or just talking about it or and it's going to manifest one day, or putting our head in the sand, or blaming someone else that didn't happen. This is all of this behavior. Yes, all of this kind of avoidance behavior is really coming in with this kazimi and saying, no, you do it. You are responsible. You have the power to do it, but you've got to do the effort, right? And these are very Saturnian energies that we will see coming in.
Beautiful. I feel to speak about a story that I heard about the sun and the Saturn. And I thought it was so poetic, the story that I heard, that I feel it's really an amazing place to speak about it. So the sun is the lover of God. Like the sun is God's wife. That's the premises of the story. And because being God's wife is sometimes a bit annoying and it's a bit hard to do, the sun created a copy of herself called Chaya. And she went on a holiday, the sun herself. She went on a holiday and Chaya stayed in her place with God in the marriage. And because time and space are like very vast out there, so the sun was away for some time, but Chaya was there, and the copy was done really good. So God made love to Chaya instead of the sun, and they had a child together, and that child was Saturn. And that's so they said, like in the story, they said that's why when the sun and Saturn are having a kazimi together, or like something like they're like in certain kind of angles together, it always creates a very special energy, because Saturn is the son of God and the fake sun.
Very interesting. Yeah,
it's so nice. No,
yeah. So there's great stories of creation, and this is right. And this is what we're saying, that there's great stories of creation. That if you're creating something, but you have to be responsible, right?
Yeah.
This is kind of the idea. And it reminded me of another point, because Saturn also represents authority, and the sun represents the father. So we will see very strong sort of senses of authority or fathering coming through in this week as well. Even if we're in the feminine in this life, we'll feel we want to father something. We want to give it more discipline, more structure, more like, this is the way it's got to be done. Like, so these two energies together are very much around the authoritarian or the father. Yes, that's right. Coming out as something more stronger. So yeah, also Saturn rules karma. So again, we're getting our karma with the energy of the sun. So it really like brings highlight to it, So it's very strong energy, sun, Saturn together, very strong energy, very like concrete, powerful, going forward, strong, energies.
It's also
Absolutely.
interesting because in Kundalini Yoga and in a lot of spiritual communities, the sun is the raw energy, the masculine energy.
Yes,
which
it is.
which
Right.
makes so much sense as well. Like to give it like a lot of structure, to also to self-discipline, like unto a certain extent. Like also that.
Yes. In Kabbalistic astrology, the sun is the light, right? It's the creator, and the moon is the vessel, right? So you could say in more modern terms of the masculine and the feminine, we say more Kabbalistically the light and the vessel, right? So so it's a similar theme to the to Kundalini Yoga's astrology. So here we're more shining, but it's got this energy of that, and the Saturn is very like with the authority, right? With the discipline, with the responsibility, with the structure, with the karma. Do your work. Yes. Okay. Amazing. Another thing that it might be as well is that what comes out into public life, because Saturn is very much about work, where we earn money, where we not actually the money itself, but what we do to earn money, right? What is my job? What is my profession? And the sun is very much about where do I want to shine? Where do I want to lead? Okay, so this could be, this could take new job ideas, new work ideas, or new work focus, I might leave this job and go and do this. It's going to give us, the sun gives us a lot of confidence and assertion as well. So, feel good about myself to go and do these new things. Saturn also rules clients. So you might find that you're ready, more radiant to go out and find new things as well. Yeah, so there's lots of things these two energies can bring together.
Amazing.
It's a good week for starting something new in your business as well, starting, something more creative in your life. Okay, so there's a lot there that I didn't even really think of. But it
looked like a little point, but it took 20 minutes.
So even with just one thing, when it's a kazimi, it can be really powerful. Like it's a good energy, a kazimi, because there's two planets that are working together as one to really go. Let's talk about Mercury, because it's Mercury. Everyone wants to know what's always with Mercury, right? So what's it up to? What's it doing to us now? Right. So Mercury has finished retrograding last week. Hooray! So we have no major planets retrograding.
Hooray!
Until around May. So that's super good, right? So we're double gray. Now Mercury is conjunct Pluto, which means that those two planets are very together on the same degree. They're in Capricorn together. They're about 26, 27 degrees Capricorn. They're both sitting there. Pluto and Mercury, what do they bring together? So Mercury is information. It's all the things with my head, right? The thoughts, the speaking, right? It's all this communication stuff, how I interact, right? It's very head energy. And Pluto is very underground energy. It's a lot of the underground, right? So this is things where we will see, because it's conjunct, it's positive. This will see things that will give us access to deeper secrets, deeper wisdom, deeper things within us that we can bring up to the conscious mind, right? And this also fits the Saturn kazimi, because sun is very conscious energy, right? I'm conscious of my responsibilities. The other one, this Mercury-Pluto one, brings up things that this is a deeper wisdom I can use to fulfill these responsibilities. This is deeper thinking, deeper intuition, something coming from really my soul out into my conscious. And Kabbalistically, the Pluto is really, like all planets of the soul, really the soul energy. But Pluto is like the foot, right? It's really where it's rooted. right, in the chart. So the soul energy, the transformational energy, the regenerative energy comes from Pluto, right? The ability to regenerate ourselves and go to our next level comes from that intensity of Pluto. So we're bringing something up with Mercurial. In other words, I can go through a whole regeneration of the way that I'm thinking about something, the way I'm speaking to something, or a whole new way, a whole reincarnation of my mind is literally the translation, right? It's a literal translation. So all of a sudden I'm thinking new thoughts about something. So, it's quite powerful that these, 4 planets are really together in 2 points, like doing this kind of, I've got new ways of thinking about very mundane things, very Saturnian, responsibilities. So it's very powerful. And Pluto and Sun are very power-driven planets.
I just experienced that, by the way,
over
the weekend.
There you go.
I had a
Tell me. I like examples because it helps bring it down to people's like, I see. Yeah.
So it could, for example, be that I tried to make up a story. It could, for example, be that you really don't like to do laundry. And laundry is the responsibility. And not liking to do the laundry and having a block there could be, for example, from your ancestral line, from your mother or from your grandmother, inherited. It's not even your block, it's the block of some of your ancestors. So now with this situation, what you can do is you can see behind the reason why you don't like it, and see behind what this block is holding you. Like every block holds a gift. Every single block that you ever experience in your life holds a beautiful gift for you. And you can, like, when you're unblocking the thing, you can unfold the gift and receive it. So you going into that experience with the laundry, you would then, for example, say, okay, like I sit with this block about having to do the laundry or cleaning the house or paying the invoices or like whatever it is where you experience one, and then you feel into that block, and then you just let it sit there and feel it. And the exchange that you can do is, while you're not fighting the block anymore, you don't have to procrastinate anymore. And then you start to integrate the block, you start to see and feel the gift that it holds for you within. And then, so this is how you can change your responsibility of doing the laundry into making it a friend. Because actually this block is your friend and the laundry is your friend, because every responsibility that we're having in our lives is creating the structure to radiant your uniqueness into the planet. So as long as you're still seeing your duties, your responsibilities as a certain kind of like not letting me do whatever I want to do, like as a restraining energy, you restrain yourself. But as soon as you're understanding that this structure and this repetitive pattern is giving you then the freedom to express your radiance, your uniqueness, and then live your lifestyle, then it becomes a friend.
Yes, they're bound in the same. They're bound in the same, isn't it? The next level and the block are very like the same thing.
They're
right?
exactly the same thing.
Yeah. So we only get the next level of our radiance from that blockage. Yes, it's the paradox of the universe. It's interesting because it reminded me that, I'm doing a self-value workshop for some people, about 5 or 6 people at the moment. I was preparing the second part to it, and I put in things like core beliefs and the way we communicate, and this kind of exercise about when we form a belief, and then when we start to speak to it, and then that can make us be really passive or really aggressive, or, you know, and what is the belief and where do we get it from and how does that manifest? So, you know, it's really that week for looking at all of those things and how we can transform them into our next level. So yeah, I like it. It's great. Let's go down to the moon. The moon started the week in Aries, and we know that Aries is very much about me, our personal, right? So this is a very much, this week is about something that is going on for me personally. And often in the Aries, when the moon's in Aries, it's really like looking at something where I'm heated. Now the energies could be frustrated, angry, losing my patience, that kind of heated energy. Or it could be where I'm passionate, I have a lot of desire, I really want to be free, right? I really want to push through, I really want to really go out there and do something. So we have that choice. The moon gives us the reactive system, which is the anger, the Aries reactive system, which is the anger, impatience, it's not happening now, I'm frustrated, yes, this energy, and I just want to run away. The positive, which is also the moon representing our soul, means I'm passionate, I have desire, I want to go out there and push through, I want to, you know, get the things that truly make me free, and, you know, really go and take all of this exertion, this energy out there. So, you know, this is where we want to be. We want to be in excitement or passion or desire this week, really like to be in that. And it's very helpful as we have a lot of Piscean energy, which gives us like this intuition, but doesn't really like give us a lot of like push forward. This week is a lot of push forward. The Sun, the Aries, the Pluto, it's push forward, and we need to take action. It's really good in the month, this Pisces, Aquarius energy, not to get too floaty, and to be here doing this. And this energy this week really is beautiful because it counteracts so much of the negativity of Pisces and Aquarius. You know, it gives us much more focus and push and desire, which is great. And then finally, my final point is that all planets actually, when they start the week, are on the left side of the chart. So if you imagine the chart is a circle, there's a line up and down the middle, all the planets are on like one half. It's all on the left. The right. It's all on the right side of the chart. What does that mean? It means the left side is more my internal, more my inside, and the right side is my external, right? So it's more the way I want to take all of this stuff out into public, into work, into friends, into communities, not like into the interaction, right? So it's kind of a week where we're going out more. Sun energy radiating, Pluto energy, the desire, the Aries energy to, you know, go out and really make something, the Saturn energy to put it in the public realm, to say this is what my responsibilities are, or my duties are, or my, you know, my work is, you know, all of that. So it's a very external driven month, you know. It's a very week, sorry, it's very out. It's like I want to bring this to somebody, I want to give this to somebody, I want to do it with somebody. It's that.
I want to do it with
somebody.
Yeah.
You could ask. It's a very pop song, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? I could hear Britney Spears.
Yeah.
I want to do it with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that one. What just came into me was like I think what we always do in LI Vision, we always have weekly to-do plans. Like we do weekly to-do lists, like what do we want to achieve, what we want to do, what we want to like nail this week. And I think this moon, like getting things done, like try to write down what you want to achieve this week. Like literally make a to-do list step by step, and then follow that through. That's really beneficial.
Yeah, it's a little wind in the sails. All the energies forward, you know, all the energies on the left. It's all the Sun in Aquarius, like it's all go out, but it's practical things. It's to-do list in the outside world.
It's very day-to-day life things. Yeah. Like
yes, as the whole year is
but plan when you do it. Like do your bookkeeping, but plan when you do it. Like it's not just a general you should do it, like no, plan the thing, like do it, like Yeah.
the whole year is going to be very practical and taking responsibility and putting things in order
Yeah. Is that
and
because
putting
of
down
the Taurus in
the
the North Node?
there's a lot of earth energy. Well, last year we had a lot of air energy, which was making us talk more and exchange ideas and discuss and have all these different views. And, you know, we were putting up with like these great big bandwidths of ideas, either very exactly factual or very just creatively conspiratorial, all of that in that extreme of the world, right? And now that's not so airy energy, right? We are now down much more in the practical day-to-day, take responsibility, do your things, keep up to date, do the routines, but they need to be new, right? They need to be reinvented, and they need to be reinvented because we're going through such a shift in the world that you can't rely on the ones you had 10 years ago. You probably can't remember them, right? But it doesn't matter. You can't even rely on the ones you had last year. You've got to update these things. This is what this is about. It's about updating your orders, your systems, your responsibilities, your things, right? In a new way. Yes.
What does it mean for the inner work? Like when you're saying like the right side of the chart is more like going out,
Yes.
like when there is no planet in
it's more the stuff. It's more like how I relate when I want to relate it to somebody. I want to relay it to somebody. Like the left side of the chart is more I'm just internal, going in. That's right, and I'm focused on the energies are pushing me in. Where on the left side, these are the energies that are pushing me more out to share, right, or more out to do this. So it's really taking something that you have within that's a new thing or a new order or a new system and taking it out. Yes. Yes. We will see new things by the end of the week, like all of this stuff that's happening in the news, all of this stuff that's been percolating around. We'll have a sense of new order. I don't know if they're going to be good or what, but they will have a new order about them or a new structure or a new way.
It's really interesting also that a lot of countries now are like changing completely their behavior concerning the pandemic.
Yes.
Like a lot of, even here in Switzerland now, they're discussing
everything.
To take everything away or parts away, or like
putting in the new order
it's opening that is happening. And I heard that Mercury is at the moment stationary, and
it's past stationary, it's moving forward now.
Oh,
yes,
amazing.
And it's in Capricorn, which makes it very Mercury might not always be the head energy. It can also be processes, and Capricorn can be order and hierarchies. So there's new processes in the hierarchies, and this is one of the things that UK has with it as an issue at the moment, is in its institutions, they're all in a chaos theory, right? Or the parliament that they have at the moment works with chaos theory of shaking things up. Now, of course, you can't go on and on and on with chaos theory. It has a natural end. Once you've upturned all the systems, you have to put in a new order. You have to put in a new thing, right? So then the chaos theory doesn't have a reason. So we will see, I think, a big change in the UK government at some point this year, right? We're starting to see it now, but I think it's that. But of course, what's happening in just one country isn't just that country. No. We are seeing it in the United States. Like the United States' institutions are just crumbling. Like they absolutely don't function at all. Nothing's getting passed, nothing's getting done. And it's in a real, tension about the way the institutions are going. The same is in Russia, right? The guy's lost the plot. He's completely got to try and prove himself as being this big leader. But everything in Russia is also crumbling, everything in China is also crumbling. So, you look at these big world powers and you see there are shakeups for new order coming through. I mean, in Russia, it's so bad that Putin had to override the constitution so he can't be voted out. That's how much his authority has been lost. Right, so you can't vote him out.
I love Putin. I think he's so funny.
and then he's put all these opposition are in jail or dead or missing, you know. So yeah, he's completely lost the plot, and so the only way he can establish authority is by the oligarchs that surround him, because he's completely lost authority over the people, and he's completely psychotic, and so anybody that comes up in opposition, they disappear. Yeah. So we are seeing, like, this is how he's asserting his authority back, right? And this is what we see in the energies at the moment, that all these orders and structures are really shaking. Yeah. I mean, he's a bright guy, but there's something, you know, that he's lost the command that he had. And this is the same in China, the same in the United States, the same in the UK, and probably a lot of other countries, right? It's all like going crazy. In Spain this week, we had like the government, you know, try to get through these reforms. They got them through, but then somehow it wasn't correctly counted up. And now it's all of these things that they voted for, and I found out that somebody didn't add them up correctly. So it's all very odd, right? And I don't want to go in conspiracy theory about it, because I just think that's ridiculous. I'm dealing with energies. Energies are way beyond what a human being can come up with. They're out of bounds, right? They don't have boundaries, the way that they work, right? But you can see the pattern of that over all these, anywhere, even in our own lives, where we have order and structure and hierarchy, and these are the ways we do things. It's completely moving and disrupted all the time. And this is the year, right? We need to put in the new base, right? The new structure and order. So when it comes to new fire energies, when they come through in the chart more, and we want to grow things, expand things, create things, we have a solid ground. So this is the solid ground year. And so in order to get that solid ground, you have to get rid of the old one first, and in order to put in a new one. There's nothing wrong with the old one. It just needs, this is a time for upheaval and change and new order.
I think it's really interesting that you speak so much about Russia. I read an interview with a Russian thought leader, which is very close to Putin. And I think that, you know, we have here in Switzerland, we have this amazing historian. He's a professor for history. His name is Daniele Ganser. And Daniele Ganser is investigating the wars of the modern age, of the past 100 years, but investigating on a university level. Like that's what they do. That's what his department does. And I think it is so fascinating, because he has a lot of YouTube videos, if you're interested in any of that, and he has some very provocative books with provocative titles. Like, and his studies and his university found out that the role of the United States in the wars of the past 70 years, and he wrote a book about that, The Big Oppressor, something like that. And it's not Russia or the Saudis, but it's the United States. And he has this very interesting thought game, where he was like saying, think about that. You are in your country, in Europe or in the United States, and then the president of China says that your president seems to oppress your people. And then they're coming with guns and they kill him. And then they're in your country, and then they're saying, yeah, we're going to stay here with our military forces over the next 15 years. We create road blockages and we drive around with our cars, and we're going to kill everyone that you voted in because they're dangerous. And he's doing this game. And the same with Russia now. Like, I read some article, I read a lot of article about the Ukraine and why this is happening, and, you know, the history behind it. And what's really interesting, it's again the United States that wants to push the NATO spot in the Ukraine, so they're closer to Russia, so they have more, you know. And now they're like, oh, Russia's the bad guy, and Putin lost his mind. And yes, probably he did. I love his pictures naked on the horses.
What
So.
I'm saying is, I think I evenly said that all
Yeah.
four of these
You
major
said no. It was
points
not you.
were trembling. You know,
It was
not
more
really,
the
yeah.
it was more the perception of Russia in the Western world that I spoke of, not
Oh
you.
yes, it's
It
true.
was,
No,
you
it's
know,
very
my
much.
dad, for example, my dad is an amazing example for like where the majority of the people stands in their opinion. And he's like, yeah, those stupid Russians, and I'm like, well, maybe they're not that stupid. Maybe they're just not like we in the West, we really agree on what the United States is doing, also with all the embargoes and everything. Like, you know, having an embargo on Syria, on the Lebanon, like people cannot have any exchange anymore with their, and you know, that's all coming from the United States courts, and the whole world is playing that game, except of China and Russia at the moment. They're the only two other big um, countries which are like not playing according to the rules of the United States. And this is really interesting because it always looks like it's not one country that is dictating to everyone else the embargoes or the wars, or but in fact it is. And I think that's something when you're saying like the United States has a Pluto return.
Yes, and this will be interesting because I think that this Pluto return will actually cave in on itself and actually be more conflict inside the
Yeah,
United States. And
I
what we'll
think so
see,
too.
because what we see is Trump coming back again, which automatically creates a big heavy base of one people who think one way, and Biden, who's very unpopular. He's not even like he's not even behind in the polls. He's unpopular. So you know, there's a big tension like creating in the United States, and this Pluto coming through with the Pluto. I mean, it's very much around, you know, America, and then of course China has energies just after that. So both sides are shaking. Of course, Russia is very linked in with China now, so by default it gets a ripple. No?
Yeah, they build an alliance.
So these two big countries, China and United States, are both being like challenged by Pluto. But I think that what Pluto does is it makes you go in and detox from inside out. So in this way, it looks like it's all happening on that they are coming together, like in having this disagreement. But really what's pushing that is that they're both internally folding in, and they need to reassert themselves, but they can't because this is going on in their own country. Do you know what I mean? So you haven't got a back foot to stabilize yourself. So I think it's going to be really interesting where we sit at the end of the year, exactly on the issues you're talking about, how all of these old systems and games and rules and structures and the way that we all slotted in, all of a sudden implode and we have to do new ones. But the best way to sort of, you know, not protect, but sort of stabilize yourself is through your own senses of stability inside, your own values, your own stabilities, your own structures, to really root yourself in that, because that will, you know, give you a good concrete sort of base as all of these things ripple on either side of us.
Yeah,
I feel anyway.
What this Pluto does as well for the United States is like, I think there will be more and more people understanding and seeing the role of the country that it plays in the international world. Like
that's right. Pluto is very much with that. What not like I can't think of the word, but where you create a character of yourself. It's sort of like, and
it's like the radiance, like
yes, and what it does is it destroys that and creates new. Yes, so all of those ways that we like to project about ourselves are all like going in, and there's new ways coming forward. And we will see that within the next year or 2 years, 3 years. This China US thing is going to be going on a lot, and then that is the turn makes us sort of like, you know, purge into a new reality. Yeah, I like it.
Very interesting.
I
Love
like
to
it.
talk.
Yeah, it's good. It's good now.
Well, is that it?
I think that's
amazing. Okay, so our podcast is finished this week.
Yes. We're into next week already.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you later.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, you guys, and have an amazing week. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.